If this video found you, then your highest timeline is calling you forward. The exact transmission that's coming through today is so that you can align and unlock your next level. It's not an accident.
Yeah, your highest timeline, which is rooted in frequency, specifically your joy frequency, following the frequency of fun, being in the flow. So these can be very like conceptual terms that you hear thrown around, but like we wanted to talk today about like what that actually is, what that looks like,
And
what
how to
that
apply
means.
it.
Yeah, and how to apply it and integrate it into your day-to-day. Because it's one thing to conceptualize that, it's another thing to actually embody it and live it, and that's what unlocks your highest timeline.
Because frequency is your currency, like Sarah said before in past videos. And when you realize it can be that simple, the universe, your higher self, doesn't speak to you in words and language that seem normal. It speaks to you in frequency, in feeling states. When something feels fun, when something lights you up, when it turns you on, when it sends sparkles up your spine, follow it. Sarah has a great story of even why we even started this channel. It was you following your fun.
Yeah,
at
it
a
was
pool.
totally, and so part of that is like, one thing that's come up a lot that I feel called to share is like this energy of supposed to, or the old way of doing things. The first thing that's going to come up is you're being called into your highest timeline, which is going to be living a life that is beyond actually what you can actually conceptualize. It's going to go beyond your psychological borders and what the mind can conceptualize. And the first thing that's going to come up is, how did you do it before?
Yeah.
What, like and this is part of like no longer buying, like you have to be aware that your mind is going to take you down a path of what feels familiar in order to create from the way that you've always known to create. And you're playing a whole new ball game as you step into your highest timeline, your new earth reality, your 5D timeline, whatever you want to call it. And it requires that you embrace the unknown and you're able to follow the frequency of fun, follow the frequency of joy, and actually follow that into the unknown. You don't know how it's going to work out. You don't know if it's going to be successful. You don't know where it's going to lead. You don't know how it's going to monetize. You don't know a lot of things, but you do know it's lighting you up and it's lighting your heart on fire, your soul on fire, whatever you want to call it. And you, like Michelle said, you feel that frequency, that energy, that pull. That is what you follow. That is what you follow without needing the proof. If you're looking for the proof or how it's going to work out, or you're trying to compartmentalize it into the old way you've always done things, you're going to hit a brick wall. You're going to hit a wall of resistance.
Because the 10x version of you is unlike anything you've experienced. Like if you're just going to try to 2x something and just make some modifications, you're going to work extra hard. You're going to use the brain to try to go back and, like Sarah was saying, how did I do it in the past? But the 10x version of you, you can't, the same level, habits, thoughts, feelings that got you to this level of success or not, is not the same patterns that are going to get you to your next level. And part of that is opening up to this fifth dimensional way of existing, which is following heart. It's heart center, it's unity, it's connecting with frequency. You don't actually take time to create something, you shift your state of being. That's the 10x. It's the secret behind the secret, what people have tried to be doing with manifestation. While all the different practices are beneficial in some way, they're permission slips to help you ultimately arrive at a state of consciousness, a state of being. And you can do that by simply following the frequency of fun and joy.
Yeah, and that's also going to bring you front and center with all of the mental doubts and fears of how it's all going to play out. You're going to be you're just going to have to get used to be walking your edge 24/7. Like your edge 24/7.
You'll come right up to it. It'll stretch you. It'll cause you
Expand
to second
you.
guess.
Yeah.
It'll expand. You'll come up against doubt, criticism, fear, expansion. Sometimes the fear isn't just around like, oh, what, something wrong. It's around, oh my gosh, this is a bigness wanting to birth through me that I've not experienced. Expansion isn't necessarily always rainbows and unicorns.
Yes, expansion. And then what comes up after that usually is being able to integrate that into your nervous system and your body to be able to hold it. You're literally expanding beyond what you've known for, beyond into the unknown. So you're going to get pulled back by the mental programming and the body's conditioning of what felt safe before, even if what felt safe before is not your preference anymore. So that's like one of the biggest pulls that will pull is like trying to do it the old way, trying to figure it all out, all of that trying to figure it out energy, all of that trying to like do it the old way energy. You're not birthing your new highest timeline into reality with that. This is fully following the frequency and the fun. And you can feel that in your body. So this is an embodiment game. This is not a mental. It's not a mental game you're playing now. It's a full-on embodiment game. And your body's wisdom will tell you if something's in alignment or not. If something feels like it's lighting you up in it's expansive or not. One thing that was coming up, we were talking about like earlier, I don't know why I'm sharing this now, but Magdalene and Lilith codes, because we were talking about that right before.
Yeah.
The Magdalene codes are to say yes to what lights up your heart and expands your heart. And the Lilith medicine is to say no with what makes you contract or what feels dense or what feels heavy. And if you can start to follow that as your code, you will begin to shift things in your reality very, very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. That's such a great analogy to see how both Lilith and Magdalene operate in our lives. And I think here's a practical way to also look at this too. So as Sarah mentioned, like when you're growing through being stretched or expanded to things that aren't comfortable, regulating your body, nervous system regulation, and embodiment practices. Number one, your awareness. Just being aware that if things are feeling foobar and are coming up and you're like, oh my God, I'm in overwhelm. This is where I was last week. An inundation of like mindset chatter, chaos, like things in the mind that wanted to pull me back to the old. Number one, your awareness can help soothe your system, because in that moment I say, this is something I just talked about. Anytime life wants to throw you these crazy things, just select pass. Pass stands for present moment awareness. Come into the present moment. A is authenticity. And ask yourself, what is the most authentic thing I can do right now that's aligned with my joy? S is simplicity. So if you can, simplify whatever it is that you're doing. And the other S is source. Connect to source, spirit, God, higher self, universe, whatever you relate to. Because when you're starting to operate in new codes and you're activating frequencies of joy and following those tendrils, the old's gonna try to come up, not to test you, but it's just neurologically wired into you. So your awareness is key. Number two, tapping. EFT, emotional freedom technique, that's a practice that you could do if you felt out of sorts. You can go rebound, jump on a rebounder or a trampoline if you have it. You can do breath work. Breath work's huge. Walking in nature. What are some other practices?
Well, those are the top ones. I love to dance. And
duh.
Yeah.
That's how we met. Dance.
Yeah, I love to
do
dance. Being in nature and going swimming, being in water. It's very grounding. Those are my favorite. Yeah.
Super supportive.
And rebounding.
Yeah, I love it. So those are some practices that you can immediately apply when you're going to your next level. Because when you're in 10x, fifth dimensional energy, you're just not using the old operating system anymore. And that can feel really ungrounding. So number one, self-awareness, and then implement those practices. But also, so something that happened in real time on Sunday, I was in it. I have been deciding, declaring, aligning. My higher self has been calling me forward. I just keep allowing, but I could see the old chaos was coming in to the realm, and I was working on the computer all day. I was feeling contracted. I was getting stuck in loops. Consciousness loops are very real. So what you want to do is
mind pattern,
consciousness loops. It's where you start to loop back into a state of consciousness that has kept you in the old operating system. And I was in it, and in the moment, I stopped, I did pass. I was like, okay, let me come into the present moment. This is feeling contracted. Lilith was speaking to me because it's like, this is not good. This isn't feeling aligned. I said, what would the most authentic, aligned version of me, my highest self, do right now? And I simplified it. Remember, pass, simplify, and then connect to source. So I was like, the simple version of me would go live. That would be a bold action for me. I'm just going to go live on YouTube and Instagram and share and give and be of service. So in real time, I mean, we're all growing through it. And so it's just finding ways that you're able to move through into these new states of consciousness. So I'd love to know, we'd love to know, drop a comment below. Have you been experiencing going to your next level? Your higher timeline is calling you forward. And are you hitting some of the noise and the chaos and or the expansion?
And that's actually part of the process. This kind of piggybacks on our previous episode. So if you haven't watched that, you might want to go listen to that, because what's really happening is the old identity will try to pull you back into the old crystallized identity that's been formed through conditioning and patterns and ways of being and ways of thinking. And so as you're breaking actually into your higher timeline, for lack of a better word, breaking into your higher, shifting into your higher timeline, you're going to have the mental egoic mind and all of the doubt and uncertainty and things like that kick up. But what's really happening is it's really just the field reflecting back to you what you're conscious of being, and the signal that you're broadcasting is still rooted in the old identity to some degree. But that's a natural process of actually shifting into your higher timeline. And oftentimes it gets the loudest right before the shift occurs, because it's the egoic mind that's so afraid of losing control and surrendering to the unknown and the uncertainty in that and the divine unfolding of that, and not having to figure everything out and compartmentalize everything. And that's the complete opposite of the way we've all been conditioned. That is actually kicks up even more so as you begin to quantum shift. And part of the process of actually being able to shift into the higher timeline is to become the eye of the storm, so to speak, because that is going to kick up, and it's that level of awareness, like Michelle was saying, that's going to allow you to witness the contracted patterns and conditioning that are basically just unwinding, and it's still being reflected back in the field because it's a signal that's being broadcasted. But that signal is kind of got static because you're ebbing and flowing. There's an oscillation between the old identity and the higher timeline, but you're already quantumly entangled with your higher timeline, which is why you can feel it, which is how it's pulling you forward. So that's just to know that that's part of the process, that you're not backsliding, you're not going backwards. It's actually a sign that you're actually shifting into your higher timeline when that turbulence, so to speak, kicks up.
So well said. So well said. So anchor in this timeline. Comment below the word joy, that you're claiming your joy, you're owning your frequency of play and allowing yourself to calibrate to it, to your highest timeline. Also be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. If this resonates with you or you know someone that may benefit, please share it. That's how we spread the love.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.